Welcome back. Joining us virtually is our finance expert, Nick Sapienza. Nick, good afternoon.
Hey, Taylor.
So today we are talking about all of that GameStop drama that's happened last week and a couple weeks ago. So I guess in layman's terms, how can you break this down for us that are still kind of confused?
Yeah, so one of the most exciting weeks on Wall Street, maybe since, March of 2020. But basically, I'll break this down as simple as I can. It's a tale as old as time. This is not the first time it's happened, just with this many people maybe. But basically, the peasants have tried to lead a revolt to overthrow the monarchy. In other words, it's little bank tries to take big bank. In the end, as you know, big bank kind of takes little bank back. So the traders on this forum, which was a concerted effort of over 2 million people, I think it reached 8 million people at one point, they knew that if they forced the stock price higher on GameStop, that everybody that was betting against it would have to cover and buy the stock itself. And so they're thinking that, we can lock in a gain, that this is a sure thing. But as you know, there's no sure things, especially on Wall Street. So it didn't end that way. As we talked about, Robinhood and other trading platforms, not just Robinhood, they're not the only guilty party, but they halted trading, meaning that you could not buy the stock, you could only sell it. And they did this for a few reasons that we'll get into in a second. But I think what really bothers me most is the people that were sucked into this at the end that are losing serious money that they can't afford to lose. So people did get hurt. There are two sides to this. Some people think that Robinhood and other brokerages that halted trading did a great thing. And other people think not so much, that it should be more of a free market, but it couldn't work, and I'll explain that in a second.
And so, Nick, you mentioned Robinhood. Is it necessarily legal for them to do something like that in a situation like this?
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of conspiracy theories floating around. Like 2020 has been no shortage of conspiracy theories. Correlation, again, doesn't always equal causation. Robinhood is horrible at communicating, though. So I think that's where a lot of the confusion comes from, and the speculation that, we're siding with Wall Street, we're siding with the suits or the billionaires or what have you. But what happened was that they were forced to stop trading because they were literally responsible for assets that were trading, like GameStop, at $350 a share, that we all know was not worth $350 a share, right? The price of the stock was maybe worth $8 or less, and that's what the hedge funds were betting, that GameStop, which is much like the Blockbuster of video games, was going to go bankrupt at some point. So they were forced to halt trading for a variety of reasons. One is because the more volatile and the higher that stock price goes, the more Robinhood is on the line for it, and they were literally running out of cash. They had to raise over $3 billion in an afternoon just to be able to cover these trades. So they were forced to do it out of maybe some guidance from the SEC or the White House, but more so because they couldn't afford it.
We have about 30 seconds left. So what does this mean for the future?
I haven't thought too much about that yet. I think it's good and bad for a lot of investors. Investors that came in and got hurt, they might look at Wall Street or investing in general and write it off completely. And that's to the detriment of their future. There are other people that have achieved an incredible rate of return. They think that that's pedestrian now. They think it's normal to make 100% in a few days or 2,000%, and maybe they're ruined from that side. What I'm afraid of happening is increased regulation implemented by people that are just doing it for optics and really don't understand the inner workings of how this all works, and that just inhibits growth in the future. So I couldn't tell you. There are plenty other better takes than mine out there, but that's just what I'm currently postulating right now.
Well, Nick, we appreciate your take on this. Thank you so much for coming on today to break all of this down for us.
Sure.
If you guys want to rewatch this interview, don't worry. It's going to be on our website, klaf.com. But first, let's send it over to Storm Track 15 meteorologist Adam Olivier.
Well, Taylor,